Hey, what's going on, guys? GoMakeGames here. In this video we're gonna be doing some final cleanups on the search function, and I can't give a big enough credit to Pedro Castro one more time, because he explained a very sensitive and important topic regarding updating of the repetition index within the entire chess engine, basically. And I highly encourage you guys to read this commentary below the Threefold repetition video by Pedro. It's really insightful here, and I even want to read some paragraph here to give you an idea, like the very gist of the entire story here, and then we'll go to actually fix some bugs in the source code. And also I would like to provide some comparison between our BBC Chess Engine and White by Richard Colbert, also known as Blue Fever software, to give you an idea, like some implementation details that are slightly different within these two engines, which are incredibly important for the understanding. And before we start, one more thing. So actually Pedro suggests me to put the updates of the ply and of the repetition index into the MakeMove function, like how all normal people do. But I just want to explain the reason why I don't do this. Is because I strongly believe that ply and repetition indices are something that regards to the search and not to the move generator. That's the reason why, even though I have some duplications, still it's kind of it's easier to understand, like what in particular and where in particular we have some something happening to this ply variable and the repetition index itself. So when I will be comparing this with the Weiss chess engine, you will understand what I mean more clearly. Well, at least I hope so. So let me just read this paragraph. So how the table repetition works. So remember that table repetition is, or repetition table, I don't even remember how I call this, is the array that is storing the hash keys of the history moves that has been done on the chessboard. And now this term of history moves is incredibly important, because until this day I missed the process of how it actually it's occurring. That's it. So I didn't understand how it's possible for it to occur. And I didn't understand that because I actually didn't make that possible, believe it or not, because of a bug in my source. So let me read first, and then we'll go through step by step. So when you start the game, the repetition table will be empty, obviously, and the repetition index is equal to 0. And fill up ply by ply with the search moves. But when you undo the moves, the repetition index returns to the initial level. Repetition index equals to 0. And that's exactly what is happening, because every time we're updating the ply and we're updating the repetition index, and then we're incrementing, and then we decrementing the ply, decrementing the repetition index, and by the end of the search it would be equal back to 0. Now, one might wonder, like, how the hell it would be recognizing the draws, basically, and that's a very good question, by the way. So, once the engine finishes the search, it will send the best move to the GUI, and it will end up making the move on its internal board. And here he says that in this case we should have this repetition index equals to 1, but this would happen only in the case if you're updating both your kind of ply, or well, at least your repetition index, or what in Weiss and TCP it's called the history ply, within the MakeMove function. So if I have a look at the source code of the Weiss chess engines, then here in MakeMove we have this. So this is the MakeMove function from Weiss. No, smooth piece. MakeMove. This is it. So what Richard does here, he increments the position, this history ply, and he increments the ply and the history ply. Now, history ply from Weiss might be observed as the repetition index in BBC, because well, history ply serves not only the purpose of tracking the repetitions, but also it's actually tracking the entire history ply, not storing only the hash keys from the previous moves, but castling rights and lots of stuff like that. But if we have a look at the UCI of Weiss, that what we see that we need to make move when the GUI sends us a move. This is happening here, so when we press in the moves command, so we need to make every move on the board. And now let's just notice what is happening. So every time he makes a move, he resets the ply. Because if he don't reset the ply, otherwise he would end up with the ply instability. So he would start his search with a ply equals to, say, I don't know, like 56, if this is the 56th move of the game, and then there is a condition: if we're too deep, then just stop calculating. So imagine what would be happening. So say we're at the depth of, say, 56 moves, and he's trying to search for, I don't know, the depth of well, maybe 56 is not good. So let's say he ends up in the ply like 63rd move of the game, and the condition, well, not sure how deep it is in white, but in TCP it's the condition of if greater than 64 than 64 plies, then just return the evaluation. So that would mean that at the move of 64, it would actually return the evaluation not from like 10, 12 plies ahead, but only 1 ply ahead. And if it exists in the 64 plies, it would most likely crash. So that's absolutely weird thing, right? And in order to avoid this, what Richard does, he resets the ply every time when make move is done within this, when the make move done in order to adjust the position, like how the UCI protocol gives the moves to set up on the board. But at the same time, we don't reset our history ply, as you can see here. And that's the exact case, like that's the exact difference between this ply that is living only during the current search, and then after the current search it goes back to 0. And on the other hand, that when we have our history ply in white, or repetition index in BBC, and it's not getting resetted. So this is what Pedro is talking about here, actually. So after making move on its internal board, after the UCI command, so repetition index would already be equal to 1. When it starts the second search, the variable repetition index is not reset as we do the ply. So we do reset the ply, but we don't reset the repetition index. That's why the table stores the first move of the game and its hash key respectively, and with each turn to the rest. So Pedro hopes that he has explained himself, and his English is poor. Well, Pedro, your English is really great. It's not poor at all, and you have explained yourself so greatly that I did that this even helped me to reveal this horrible bug I had in my source code. So now assuming the implementation of BBC and how it's different to WISE. It's different in the case that every time we're making the move, so I will start with this, so make move. So every time we're making the move, we actually manually, well, not here, it's still the make move function. So it's the perf, okay, it's perf test here. So every time we're making a move within our either quiescence or the Nigamax search, what do we do here? We before making a move, we increment and apply, so just like we do, and also we're incrementing the repetition index and writing this to the writing this hash key, which is quite pretty it basically. And well, I just even thought maybe we even shouldn't do this every time, but only when the GUI actually sending some moves to us. That's another interesting question to have an answer for. Well, anyway, so so I guess just my wife has started talking in the next room, and that slightly bit distracts me. Okay, so talking on the phone, I mean. Well, let's actually get to the point. So what I was trying to mimic in this implementation, so I was trying to mimic this sort of a behavior when we incremented the ply and this history ply or repetition index in BBC within the make move. And I just thought maybe we shouldn't really even be doing this everywhere around in the search, because that probably doesn't really make much sense. But I need to test that, and if this actually works, I will then get rid of this stuff here, because separating the ply increments and repetition index increments from the make move, well, in my dreams probably it makes it possible to not doing this all along the way. Well, I'm not sure still. While on the other hand, it actually does allow to find the repetitions during the search, right? Which is also a good idea, and at least it works. So probably, yeah, I would probably actually leave this. Yeah, I will leave this because at least it finds the repetitions within the current search, ignoring the history moves, but still this is kind of pretty nice. And probably, yeah, this answers the question I've been asking in the last video, like why it doesn't, why it still goes to the threefold repetition when it was 3 plies depth. Okay, just forget it, you don't need this. These are just my thoughts. Okay, so what I want to say that every time we're making a move, we are wrapping this MakeMove functions with increment and deploy and decrement and deploy here. So these decrements are happening if move is not valid. So we still need to decrement this stuff back. And the same stuff is happening here within the Ningamax search. So this, so this is still quiescent, sorry. Here within the Ningamax search happens the same. So we're wrapping this index and repetition index increments and decrements around this MakeMove. But now when we go to our MakeMove function that is done within Parse and the moves command, see, like, so unlikely to Vice, we don't actually need to reset this ply, because in Vice this ply is being incremented every time the MakeMove function done. But here, even though the make function has been done, it didn't really increment the ply, so we don't need to reset it. That's why I don't do this. But what I forgot to do is actually what Pedro is saying here. We need to increment our index, our repetition index, and okay, just a little bit more confusion is, do we actually need to write the, yeah, and obviously, and we need to write, so yeah, the current hash key, obviously. So here I want to increment repetition index and repetition index plus plus, and also write hash key into repetition table like this. So repetition table indexed by the repetition index should be equal to the hash key. Now I just want to compile and run this to make sure it still works. So what should I do here? I should say make debug and run the BBC here. Undeclared. Ah, just a typo. Repetition table. Just a typo here. Okay, so it compiles, which is good. So from now on, this repetition index would be increased by the fact that we're actually making our moves, and all the following adjustments are actually made due to correctly resetting this repetition index every time a new game starts. So if that's the new game, we need to reset that. That's kind of the idea. And one more little thing, it is suggested by Pedro. So he suggested to clear hash table once in the parse fen function instead of doing this twice within the UCI loop. And I'm even doing this 3 times. I'm initially clearing the hash table in all init, which probably a bit redundant, but I just probably I'm not sure, should I keep that actually, because it's hard to imagine the situation that we're searching without previously calling this parse position. But on the other hand, when we're making search in the debug mode, we definitely, well, but yeah, in that case we need actually to clear the hash table in all init, because if it's not cleared in the parse FEN, in that case we would just get a crash. Engine would crash because the hash table is not initialized yet. But I just keep this for now at least, because in order to call this clear hash table in the parse FEN, the definition of the function has to be just right above the FEN, and now it's below the FEN function, so it would give in a warning like implicit declaration of the function, things like that. So in order to avoid this, I'll keep this sort of a stuff here, even though it would be a great idea to actually not doing that, but you know, I hope it's clear. Okay, so and the next thing, which is really important, so it just wraps in the UCI loop. So it just did this. Okay, parse FEN command. I'm just wondering. Yeah, so I just did it here, and now so just did this. Now, assuming this sort of behavior, we need to increase the apply limit for the repetitions. So assuming that this repetition table, this repetition index is increasing during the game, we might encounter a situation when the game would be too long, and respectively this index would kind of crash because it would be outside the array. So Pedro suggested to have 1000 well, I guess that's bytes instead of 500s that I have in now. I'm not sure what exactly value I have, just to make sure that even longer games are handled correctly. So let's go to repetition table definition. So repetition table, and so Pedro suggested to make it 500s, and sorry, Harold suggested to make it 500s, and Pedro suggested to make it 1000s. And here I just want to give a commentary that 1000s is a number of moves in the entire game. Sorry, not the moves, number of plies, and it would be like 50 moves, 500 moves in the game. Obviously it's hard to imagine a chess game with 500 moves, but still, just to avoid some weird crashes, and I just want to make this like so number of plies in the entire game. Okay, so this is another thing to fix. So I hope it still compiles and runs. Okay. Another and now in regards to some resetting stuff. So if we have a look at the parse FEN function in Vice, this is quite pretty important stuff as well. So this means like every time we're starting, so parse FEN is like every time we're starting a new game. That's kind of it. So this reset board is called, and within the reset board lots of stuff is done there, but what we are interested in, so we need to reset the ply. Well, I'm not sure why exactly we need to reset the ply, because it most likely be 0 itself, and reset the position key and reset the history ply. Well, again, like, this resetting of the ply is a bit questionable, because you can hardly imagine the situation where the ply it has the other value but 0, because it's incremented and decremented always exactly the same number of times. Maybe this is some over safety measure, I'm not sure. Well, it's not a big deal to do so, so I would probably go for this. So anyway, let's go to the parse FEN function now. Control F and parse FEN. So let's want to reset, well, let's start with the hash key, reset hash key, because obviously if we didn't reset the hash key, the next position would be with a malformed hash key, which is not kind of what it is really. So we really need to reset the hash key, otherwise it would be a disaster. So 0 unsigned lon, and let's make sure it still compiles and runs. Okay, and also we want to reset repetition index. So repetition index is equal to 0. So this means that we'll start writing our repetitions table from scratch. And what I would even do even more, which is probably not needed, but still it's a good idea. So we can reset the repetition table. It's not a big deal. It doesn't take long, so we can simply say like memset and repetition table, and we want 0 unsigned lon and the size of repetition table. So just reset this array as well. Okay, let's make sure it still compiles and runs. And also, well, this suggested stuff is actually to reset the ply. But again, what I can actually try to check this on my own. So let's try to mimic some UCI commands. So let's say position start pause and moves. Okay, so I just won't be able to print apply. So I just want to say that, okay, it doesn't work like this. What I wanted to say is ply equal to 0. If we just try to reset the ply, we will get an error because ply is not declared here. So in order to do this, we need to find where the ply is declared, and most likely it would be more reasonable to put this ply declaration where the repetition index is occurring actually. So here. So in this case, ply would get reset. And now we can actually try this. So parse fen. We can try this to see what it would be actually. So if I just can printf, and so this is the parse fen call to parse fen, and ply is equal to, and what the ply is. So again, and now if we just try to say position start pause and moves, well, let's say e2, e4, e7, e5, okay, and let's say go depth 10. Now he just finds the best move. Well, it's the debug mode. That's the reason why it's slower compared to the release mode. Okay, but anyway, if we just now say UCI new game, so did we actually have the ply? So yeah, ply was equal to 0. So now without actually resetting this ply, I'm wondering if after creating a new game, so the ply is still equal to 0. So literally there is no need to reset this. But assuming that there might be some bugs, and just to feel a little bit more calm at this point, I think this might be just fine. But I just wanted to show you guys that the ply shouldn't be the other value than 0, because the number of times when we increment and decrement this ply is always the same. But anyway, well, let's actually make it. So I just say like it has to be 0 even without this in it. If not, this means that something is wrong in the entire chess engine. So that's another thing to consider. Okay, so we did reset the position key, did we? Hash key equals to 0, which is okay. Well, by the way, another way, so this should be, okay, hold on a sec. So the hash key here was like this. Hold on a sec. Did this change 6ED? Oh, no. So it's also fine. Okay, I just want to, so with this new updates, just want to make one more little check. So let's make the debug again. So let's say position start pause just to see the initial hash key, and then let's say we actually don't really need to go for any depth, but we can just say position start pause moves, and let's say e2, e4, e7, e5. Okay, and then well, probably if I just say this UCI new game, will this print me a board? I'm just wondering, is it gonna be printing a board to me? I'm really wondering. Okay, it does, and we have absolutely the same key. So it's 6ED 99580 6ED. Yeah, so the hash key is the same. Well, I believe if we don't do this, then most likely it would be a different. I'm not sure though, so let's see. Let's have a look if it will be. So let's say UCI new game and position start pause moves and e2, e4, e7, e5, and then the UCI new game again. Well, actually, it is still the same, and yeah, most likely this is happening because, yeah, so this wasn't really necessarily needed, and the reason why this wasn't necessarily needed, I've just realized why. That's because we are generating a hash key from scratch. So that's how it was basically. And when we're generating the hash key from scratch, we actually do so we're taking a 0 unsigned long, and then generating the hash and assigning to the hash key. So again, like, so this seems to be the redundancy as well. So I will probably say that it should be fine after, or maybe I just get rid of that, just in order to. Well, another problem is that if actually I don't do this. Well, okay, so hash key is not needed to get updated because we still do this anyway. And what about, and same with apply. So here is another dilemma that actually if we do this, that most likely if there is something wrong with apply, that engine won't get crashed, and this is good from the perspective like it would still be playing. But on the other hand, if we don't do this and it will crash, then we will know that there is an issue. So it's also not really that easy to say, like, so well, probably, yeah, it's time to have the iron balls, and I will probably get rid of this. So I just wanted to show you like how. So yeah, most likely play should be most likely. Well, okay, so I just want to test this with the FENs. So save. Let's. I also want to try to test this with the FENs, different FENs, to see if this is gonna be just fine. And in the Parse FEN again, just want to, so repetition index is getting resetted. Okay, and resetting the repetition table. Okay, and let's just print apply. So it should always be 0 basically. So just want to check this. So apply. Okay, so let's go again. So UCI new game, we got apply 1. Let's say go depth, let's say 9. Okay, got a best move, e2, e4, so position, start, pause, moves, e2, e4, and now the apply should be equal to 0, which it is. Okay, and we say go depth 9, just some move and return, b8, c6. Well, okay, and let's say we have this UCI new game again, and apply 0, and let's say position fen and paste. Oh, what have I done? Oh, hold on a sec. Do we have? Oh, something weird has happened, so tricky position. Position fen. Okay. Okay, it's just did something wrong there. So let's start again. So UCI new game. Excuse me. Oh, UCI new game like this, and go depth. Let's say 8. Okay. Move. Okay, let's say position fen and the fen. Okay, and apply still 0. So go depth. Let's say 7. Okay, let's say position fen and moves e2 a6, and it should take with the bishop. Okay, go depth 8, and let's say we start the new game again, and the apply should still be equal to 0, and it is. Well, that's because it's being incremented and decremented back all the time, so most likely it should be fine. And I would better see if the bug occurs regarding this apply rather than being implicitly hiding this. So that's kind of it. Well, okay guys, so let me just reset apply. We don't do this. Reset index, we do this. And reset position key, we also don't need to do this because we do this down below here in the Parse fen. Via calling generate hash key from scratch. So this should be just fine. And another important thing again, so make move, and when it comes to here in the UCI part, in the parse position, so we actually do increment the repetition index. So now the very last thing I'm really tempted to know is actually whether this would change the behavior regarding the threefold repetitions, and I'm really tempted to know if that is going to be working differently. I hope it should have. So let's try to make this for a release. Okay. Okay. And let's go to start the arena. Okay. I just want to reference. So did Did I get rid of that PGN already? Oh my god, don't tell me. Oh no. Don't tell me I did get rid of that PGN. If I could only remember the position. You know, that's really bad. Okay guys, just hold on a sec. I will try to find that game in my email and hopefully to show you. Okay guys, I just opened the email and I already see this threefold repetition bug. Okay, so most likely that's the exact stuff I'm supposed to be actually fixing now. So let's see the latest game sent by Jay. And that, well, Jay, thank you so much. This is just right in time, you know, like this wasn't intended, this wasn't directed really. So let's say some PGN game, and yeah, I'm really tempted to see. So another game played by BBC on the other computer but mine, on Jay's computer. So let's have a look at the game. I'm really tempted to see. So PGN open and one PGN and open road. Sorry, this is something wrong actually. Did I store it? Okay, it seems like I did. Then why I can't actually open this? One PGN desktop, okay. Maybe something wrong with the format. I'm just wondering what can get wrong there. Oh, that's because it doesn't have the header. That's not good. Oh, here is the header. Sorry. And the key position here as well. Well, Jay is doing incredible work. Basically, copy and this like save, and also this key position. Yeah, this is already like a community development, guys. I really appreciate you for helping me so much. Copy and let's save this. Let's save this here. Okay. So okay, now it works. Perfect. Come on. Oh, you're kidding me. Oh my god, what did I do wrong? Just try again this. Copy. Let's reload this arena from scratch. Okay, thank God. Now at least it works. So yeah, it was playing versus the same engine chess Rikus as Jay sent me before. So let's have a look at the game. So BBC is playing whites. Okay, well, not so bad at the moment. Okay. Okay, so now it's better. Okay. He didn't even take this. Oh, that's because it was queen, okay. Okay, and that's not yet a draw. Okay, so this is a draw. Okay, okay, this is a draw. This is a draw. Okay, and I would now also want to. I would now also want to have a look. So let's take this key position sent by J. Copy and get from clipboard. So I'm wondering, so this is probably white to move. Let's check this out. Yeah, it's white to move, okay. And well, I guess I didn't yet change the engine, so manage. By the way, I'm wondering what was the depth there. Just forgot to see that. Well, anyway. Or no, it's important. Okay, hold on, just the depth is important, that what kind of depth this bug has occurred. Depth 10. Okay. Depth 9, depth. So it was probably okay. What was the initial time control? Oh, 2-minute blitz. Okay, 2-minute blitz. So that's how I would be testing this. So okay, so from this position, so now it seems to be like the previous version. So let me just try to play. So this version, the previous one, this should be given this threefold repetition. Okay, so this is the previous version. Yeah, this is the bug. Okay, good. Okay, okay, so and now let's make sure that we do compile and run the latest version again, and hopefully this fix with keeping track of the incrementing the repetition index within the UCI loop, this should be actually fixing this. This really should. Well, it is, I hope so. So let's have a look. Manage details. So final search fix. I hope this is the final search fix. It might not be, but I really hope so. Okay. BBC open. Okay. And I'm just wondering that what's the time control now? So it has been ingested automatically, I guess. Okay, so I hold my breath and try to run this again. Oh man, don't tell me this is gonna be a draw, please. Yes, and now this is fixed. Okay, this is just perfect. So now this has been fixed, which means that actually, yeah, this is kind of working. So let's have a look how this game should have ended if no threefold repetition bugs there. So this is how this should have ended, really. Okay. Piece up. Lots of pawns. Gonna be queening now. Okay. Total crush. Okay. Okay. Just fantastic. And queening. Oh my god, didn't Chess Ricus didn't even, oh, it's actually not a Chess Ricus anymore. It's actually BBC playing versus itself on the rail though. So that's kind of it. And this is the main. This is how it should be. Well, okay, guys. So I'm so happy and I'm so excited to have this threefold repetition bug being finally resolved. So again, like Jay, just especially for you, I just want to make this highlight one more time. So just go to MakeMove function. Here. So because we didn't increment this index, that's the reason why we couldn't actually do this. We can track that within the history moves. We didn't really have those history moves. Well, now we do have those history moves, like history hashes in the repetition table. So now this is it. So I hope from now on this damn threefold repetition bug is not ever to occur. And again, like, if not only this commentary by Pedro, so Pedro, man, like, thank you so much for kindly pointing this out. So this is so cool. Without this, I wouldn't ever realize where exactly to search for this bug. So deep respect to Pedro. So thank you very much. Thank you for supporting me. And by the way, guys, for those of you who maybe don't know, like didn't read the commentaries, I was asking Harold and Pedro if they are okay to have their names as co-authors in BBC, and both refused, unfortunately for me. But anyways, I will give them credits in the description on GitHub when the chess engine is about to be published. Okay, so this is it, and if only no other nasty bugs are about to cure in BBC, in this case, we'll go to our journey through the improvement of the evaluation function, and then that's gonna be really fun stuff. I've refreshed my memory from the Wise series regarding how to make use of bitboards during the evaluation of the pawn structures. But we can go even furthermore because we have the bitboards for all the pieces. So we would be evaluating the piece mobility as it done in Only Thing by Oliver. I forgot that Oliver's last name, Brosh or something like that. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong, or if I forgot that. So piece mobility is really interesting thing. So piece mobility is literally like the number of pieces covered by the current square, and we can use the pre-calculated attack tables to count the bits for every single piece it's kind of covering. That's really exciting. That's how we can adjust our evaluation function. So things like trap bishop might be simply evaluated via the this mobility stuff. So we just have yet enough. If we have enough mobility, if we have enough squares for bishop to go, then it would be better than when we have less squares for bishop to go. So most likely it would be trying to avoid getting trapped itself without some complications like people usually do. Okay, guys, so this is it from my side. Again, like I'm very grateful to all of you supporting me in this work, and well, hopefully with this threefold repetition bug being resolved, we'll now go to actual improvements of the playing strength of BBC. And I hope this would be dramatic, really, because the search is at this point is quite pretty not that bad at all. It's really impressive to me personally. I never ever thought that it would I would be able to do this. Well, it's not even me, just without the help of Harold and Pedro, I would never been able to do this. But still, this is so cool. And evaluation at least at its basic level is something that I can understand myself. So hopefully there would be a bit more interesting rather than this how it was in search. Well, anyway, guys, thanks for watching. I hope to see you in the next series, in next videos in this series, where we're now very close to the state where the very first initial release is about to come, and I'm very excited at this point. So several evaluation videos, improvement the evaluation, and basically we're done because everything else is ready for this initial version. The only thing I drop is the 50 rule move, because like I personally think that it's not a good idea to do this because of the unfortunate Ripka experience many years ago. Like it lost the game due to this 50 rule move. And well, actually, if it happens one day that BBC will lost due to the 50 rule moves, in that case I will definitely implement that, but no earlier than that. Okay, guys, so take care, see you next time. Go make a king. Cheers.